It has been a long time since a game has truly forced me to consider my actions. As I've said in the title, I believe Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 is the best game to come out in 2021. However, that is with a caveat. You will actually have to read in order to progress in this game. Not only that, you'll be forced to think for yourself, to decide the best course of action in order to proceed in each of the cases presented in the game. In other words, you will have to learn to think like Sherlock Holmes. As games have progressed, creators have devised mechanisms and shortcuts which allow players to barrel through each challenge, even if they were barely paying attention. Frogware has taken a huge risk in deciding not to give players this luxury. We've all gotten fat as gamers, playing games like Skyrim or GTA, which ultimately can be reduced to follow the leader style gaming and robbing the players of truly making important decisions. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 challenges the player to exercise their squishy meat noggins. For some people, will probably be more than they can bear. Then again, this is a Sherlock Holmes game. Buyer beware. The graphics in Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 are good. The game takes place in an open world setting of the Mediterranean island city Cordona. For an open world game, the graphics are clear and it is easy to get lost in the charming European setting Frogware has created for the game. Character models are smooth and, most importantly, the clean graphical style is optimized for searching for clues. Each area is beautifully detailed, and despite some clues being very small, they are never difficult to spot. The graphics may not amaze, however, they function well for their purpose, and the game's thoughtful design creates an effect where the total is greater than the sum of its parts. I give the game's graphics a solid 8.5 out of 10. In a game which is based on a beloved book series and which involves mysteries where conclusions can be notoriously subjective, it is crucial that the writing be top-notch. Too many jumps in logic, obtuse assumptions, or general bias in the writing could ruin the player's immersion in the mystery, as the player is forced to guess what the game writers were getting at in order to proceed. Fortunately, the game has good writing. There were times when I felt the vagueness of the clues at hand forced a bit of the stretch of the imagination. However, those were few and far between. All in all, I was right in line with Sherlock's own thinking, and generally felt I had just enough information in order to find my way to the next plot point or clue. One thing which I found interesting about the cases was the way the developers handled the final conclusion. Oftentimes I was presented with more than one answer, and it was up to me to decide who done it, why, and what I should do about it. Some players may find it frustrating because the actual truth is always uncertain. However, for me, this put me right into the shoes of Sherlock Holmes. It was up to me to decide the fates of the people involved in the mysteries, and each decision weighed on my conscience. I would stay up at night sometimes, rethinking facts of the cases that I had uncovered, wondering if I had made the right decision, who to find guilty and who to claim innocent. Is it fair for me to possibly sentence a person to their death when there is that one clue which gives an ounce of doubt? And what is the alternative if I let someone off? Someone innocent may get blamed instead. These vagaries gave me the feeling and gravitas of a true investigator, and tested my own values. Do I side with a more emotional argument, or go with the more plausible story? I spent much of my time poring over the old bits of evidence because I was so concerned I might make an error in judgment. The story itself features a young Sherlock Holmes before he is known in the books of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Sherlock is accompanied by his imaginary friend John as they visit their old estate in the Mediterranean island city of Cordona, where their mother has passed long ago. The story and characters were engaging and often amusing, as well as the cases were all intricate and fascinating, even the side quests. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 is one of the rare games where I made sure to do almost every side quest, as they were often just as interesting as the mainline story. I give the writing in Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 10 out of 10. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 has some very unique gameplay elements which distinguish it from other open-world games. At its heart, the gameplay is about mystery solving. There is some light action in the game, but this is more of a side note. The core gameplay expects the player to think like a detective and draw conclusions from the evidence collected. However, it is the way the game incorporates the open world aspect, which sets the game apart. As the player delves into a case, it is up to them how to proceed. They may need to visit multiple crime scenes or even drop in to the local newspaper, police station, or city hall in order to get the correct information. I often found myself navigating the winding streets of Cordona, looking for this cross street or that. In this way, the game felt more like Morrowind than a modern open world game. The world was there for me to explore, but it was up to my own ingenuity in order to figure out how to proceed. The actual puzzle solving of the cases was interesting and well developed. The player must hunt for clues. Sometimes that meant searching a crime scene. Other times that meant donning the correct disguise and asking around town. From the clues, the player proceeds to the nifty Mind Palace, which sounds like something out of Persona, but it's actually a convenient interface for establishing possible deductions. From the clues the player gathers, they navigate to the Mind Palace where they make deductions, and from those deductions the player will be presented with a number of possible conclusions, which it is up to the player and their understanding of the collective evidence to choose which path to proceed. Outside of sleuthing, the action sequences are actually a bit of a sore point. I myself turned off Target Aid, as I felt it made the fights too non-challenging. However, the fight scenes were still repetitive, and they felt contrived. Overall, however, the open-endedness of the crime solving and the clever ways it was incorporated into the vibrant Cordona landscape won me over. I give the gameplay a 9.5 out of 10. Sherlock Holmes is an enthralling open-world game that forces you to use your head at every turn. It is challenging, yet fair, and more than a little amusing. Though it may not be for everyone, I had a hoot playing it. You may enjoy this game if you like other mystery games, the Myst series, or the more technical aspects of Skyrim or Morrowind. Don't play this game if you don't like reading or just want to play an action game. My only suggestion to the developers, I would like to see the action integrated more elegantly into the game world. And perhaps a bit more variety would be nice as well. I give Sherlock Holmes a 9.5 out of 10. And an owl with a Sherlock hat, because the game is a real hoot. And a word of advice to new players, make sure you learn what each of the symbols means above the evidence. That will be crucial. You can find a detailed description of each in the How to Play section of the game. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, please subscribe to Waves from the Outside YouTube channel. And if you have any suggestions or any comments about the game or the review, please comment below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Have a great day.